welcome to Homekeepers. How are you, my friend? I'm so glad to be here today and just enjoy the presence of the Lord and to know that you're out there. And if you've never seen this program before, I want you to know you're welcome. You come right on in, and we deal with anything and everything that concerns the home. And as I've said many, many times, that really includes anything and everything. And I believe that if we got the homes right, according to the biblical standard in this great country of ours, that about 99% of our problems would probably be taken care of. So this is an important program. And one of the major issues in the homes of America today would be money. And it was quite prominent in the scripture. We'll talk about that with my friend Mickey Walters. Mickey was on, she's been on here before, but she was on not too long ago, and I told you then that she was finishing up this book called Financial Freedom. And she just had a seminar for people who want to be financially free, and I can't imagine who would be excluded from that. And I heard it went very, very well. And so to you pastors, Sunday school leaders, youth leaders, you know what? Why don't we start teaching our young people how to handle money? Anyway, this gal is great, and I would recommend her for this. But this is hot off the press here, Financial Freedom. And guess what? She's a minister. She's a minister's wife. But she's had 35 years experience in the financial world. So I think she knows what she's talking about. If you haven't met her, I'm anxious for you to meet her. And I want to offer you this book, but before I put that up on the screen, I'm going to join Wanda to make, it's a French toast bake thing. And I keep getting in my mind, it's kind of like a bread pudding, but if you could smell what we smell right now, you'd be smiling, I promise you. So before I join her, I want to give you an opportunity to get this book. Isn't that pretty? What a pretty book. Anyway, it's $19.95 plus a couple dollars shipping, and we'll get it right out to you. If you use your credit card, it's 1-800-229-0059. And you can do it that way, or you can write to us. We love getting your mail, and just send that check, and we'll get it right out to you. And Mickey doesn't live very far from me, so I'm pretty sure we can get the books immediately. So hope you'll do that. And I've joined Wanda here.
Yeah.
Why does this remind me of bread pudding? Because it's got bread in, I bet.
Yeah, but you soak it a little bit, and you do that with bread pudding. And so that's kind of like the same thing. But the process in this is once you pour the egg mixture over it, you need to let it sit on the counter for about 10 minutes to kind of soak up before you put the topping on it. But that's the basic.
You know,
of it.
a week or so ago, excuse me for, we were talking about this beautiful set of silver that Mr. Keith sent to us from Missouri, and it's place setting for about 100, isn't it?
Wow,
So
I'm sure it's not, but
we were looking at this. That's it, everything we got here he sent us.
Just about,
So,
yeah.
double kisses to you, Mr. Keith. That
Yes.
he got us a quieter, you know, mixer and all.
Although the other one gave us a little more publicity. Now we're not getting any publicity anymore about that anyway.
Okay, I'm supposed to do something.
Yeah, you want to take 2 tablespoons of the sugar.
Okay.
Right there. There you go.
And this is how much in here that you measured off? About a half a cup?
It's actually a 1/4 cup.
Plus 2?
No.
No.
This is just a 1/4 cup of sugar,
Okay.
and we're going to take 2
And you're just
tablespoons
gonna
out
divide
of
a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you're going to add the cinnamon to that, which is
Okay.
about a teaspoon. Here, I just cut up some bread. You know, if you want to do this for your family, you want to get a large loaf and then cut it up, and then just double everything. If if you're going to have company, this is what I would do.
And that's kind of cubed. Mm-hmm. Is this all that goes in here?
That's it. You don't need Sorry,
My
Arthelene.
talent has no end.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you whip this up if you'd like.
Linda's giving
Give you
me
some
a thumbs
area
up.
of importance. We're very proud of you, Miss Arthelene. We love you. And here's the rest of that sugar, which was, no, honey.
I don't even know how it
That's
works.
off. There you go.
Mr. Keith gives us these streamlined things.
And that was just a little bit of salt by about a 1/4 of salt. And this is a teaspoon of vanilla.
Vanilla.
Yeah. And you just do your thing. Whip that right
Is
up.
that all we do?
I'm telling you, it can't get any easier than that. It's really very, very simple.
Okay.
Did you get that all whipped in there good? You know how
That's
I am.
very good. Oh, I know. Sister Purist here.
Okay, all right. Let me put this over here. And what we're going to do is simply just pour this over top.
I'm going to get some of this stuff out of your way.
Please. And then normally you let this sit on the counter, but for time's sake, you sit on the counter for about 10 minutes.
Because you want that bread to soak.
I do want the bread to soak
So you let
up.
it sit for 10 minutes, which we do not have time to do that.
We don't have time, but I'm just going to push it down just a little bit. And when this comes out of the oven, it comes out quite puffy. Don't worry. Once it's out of the oven for a little bit, it'll settle down a little.
Okay, do you make bread pudding? What's the difference here?
I'd have to look at some of my recipes.
You bake bread pudding?
You bake bread pudding. I put different things in my bread pudding. I'd have to honestly look because I usually
so this is
do it at
like
night.
That, though. They call this a French toast thing, though.
Yeah, and you could do this this would be great to do for company. You could just maybe get up in the morning early and that's all you do. Just sprinkle that on top. You bake it at 350.
But I have a friend who makes a fabulous vanilla sauce for this kind of thing.
And that would be equally as good. You'll have to get that recipe so we can do it.
Isn't that pretty?
I'll have to dig out. I have a wonderful bread pudding that I love.
Okay, would you maybe put some, I'll turn this over this way for the pretty side. Would you put maybe syrup on it?
Well, I think my grandchildren would prefer it with syrup. My granddaughter, I think, uses syrup as mostly her breakfast, I think.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you about one more thing.
Very
I'm not
moist.
sure where the knife went, but
What?
I just need a knife to cut this up.
Are you going to just dot butter on that?
Yeah.
Hey, that's good. But it would be great with that vanilla sauce.
Yeah. You need to give me that recipe.
I emailed her,
Yeah?
so when I get it, I'll give it to you.
Okay, that'd be great.
And you
Just bake at 350 for about 35, 40 minutes until you'll know when it's done, until it's really golden brown.
Very good. If you want
That's
this recipe, friends, information's coming up right up on your screen. And we'll be glad to get it out to you. And please stay with me. And if you haven't met Dr. Mickey Walters before, you will, and you will like her. I promise.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, please send your request along with a gift of $5 or more to Homekeepers, P.O. Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758.
I am delighted to have Dr. Mickey Walters back. She's a good friend, and we just enjoy being together once in a while.
Yes, we do.
The opportunity doesn't present itself too often because we're both busy. I want to talk just a minute out of, by way of introduction, that you and your husband founded Faith Outreach Center in Tampa. How long ago?
27 years ago. 27 years
ago. I remember.
Yes.
And you have a day school, right?
We have an academy that goes from K3 to 12th grade. We have a college.
And you have a theological, it's a Bible college. Right?
Yes, it is.
And now explain how it's in different parts of the world, because your husband's getting ready to go visit one of your schools in Korea.
Correct. Yeah, he's headed to Korea. He and our dean are headed over there to visit some of the colleges that we have that's affiliated with us. We have them all over the world. We have them down in the Caribbean, South America, Korea, China. So we have them all over the world.
Yeah, I kind of got a little goosebump when you started mentioning those, because Jesus said, "This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached to all nations."
That's exactly right.
And you have to prepare those preachers.
That's right.
That's what you're doing.
Well, we're preparing those preachers that are in their land.
Yeah.
See, when you send people, it's wonderful, but when you prepare them that are the natives of that land, they'll receive from their own.
Call them indigenous churches, too.
There you go.
Yeah. it's not an attempt to go Americanize people. You just want to give them the gospel.
Not at all. Not at all. It's to preach the gospel. And that's everywhere.
Now, were you into finances before you were saved?
Oh, very definitely.
Yeah.
I was. I was a financial advisor, tax consultant, and practiced before the IRS.
So you just didn't, because she's a preacher's wife, she thought she might write a book about finances. No,
there you
You
go.
are qualified.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you are qualified. So were you a broker?
No, I was not a broker. No, not at all. I was prepare. In other words, my object was this: to save as much money for my client as I could possibly save.
Well, I bet that's a rare breed today.
Yes.
From what I hear, they try to sell you they call them instruments, where the broker makes a pretty good commission.
Right, but that wasn't my object. My object was to help people save as much money as they can, because that's my passion. My passion is for people to be able to save as much money as they can. My passion is to get people debt-free. And we live in a generation right now that it is not debt-free.
They don't even know what it is.
They have no idea. This generation just wants to have the commodities, for instance, that their parents had that took them 30 years to accumulate. And they don't want to wait that long.
And Mickey, so often you see young people getting married, whoever, starting out with what their parents had. The only difference is they're hawked up to here and
that's right.
Setting themselves up for marriage problems. Now, another thing, your church doesn't have 20,000 people in it, but it's completely debt-free, right?
Our complex is completely debt-free. We don't owe a cent. As a matter of fact, what I told our controller, Gabrielle was on the show
right.
here. Gabrielle takes care of the money, of all the different facets of it. And I say this, on Friday, I want every bill paid that comes in this place. When people come in those doors on Sunday, we are totally debt-free. We don't owe 1 cent to anybody.
That's a reason to rejoice, isn't it?
It certainly is. We sleep good at night.
Yeah, and that's the way the house of God should be.
That's right. That's right.
And
we should be the example for that congregation that if this church is debt-free, they can accomplish it too.
Yeah, and when the needs arise,
that's right.
You have a storehouse.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. We have what we call a benevolent fund, and that benevolent fund helps those, because there are, from time to time, things happen. I mean, this generation never thought we would be in the position that we've been in for the past 3.5, 4 years. They had no idea. They didn't know what was coming down the pike. And it happened, and all of a sudden, what is it? What's taking place?
Yeah, and America's getting older, and we already know that Social Security's broke and those kind of things, but amazingly, the people who are right at the door of retirement, they got nothing. So it's pretty sad. Now, why did you write the book?
I wrote the book simply for the fact that I wanted to communicate in an everyday language, not with a lot of figures and a lot of, hype stuff out there. I wanted somebody to be able to read this book that is debt-free and be able to read it, accomplish what the book says, and take them step by step by step. And when they can do that, and when they can discipline themselves to accomplish what was in that book, they'll be debt-free.
For instance, on page 61, she has the 10 Commandments of wise stewardship.
Yes.
I mean, the information you need is really in here. You said in your book to develop a plan for a year, and I have to admit I laughed. Most people don't know what they spend on lunch that day.
That's true. That's true. See, I believe you have to have a vision for your money. You have a vision for everything else. I want to have a new house. I want to have a new car. I want to get this furniture. I want to get this flat
That's
screen.
good, Mickey. That's
you know,
good.
they have a vision for everything else, but they don't have a vision for their money. And when we have a vision for our money and we let God into that vision that we have, you know, it can be accomplished.
Absolutely. Now, we're in a bad real estate market, or maybe it's just how you look at it, because homes that were $280,000 just a few months ago are now under 150, right?
That's very true.
So that's the good for the people who want to buy. It's bad for the people who paid 280.
This is where, if you have money, right now, you can make money.
Yeah. In real estate. Yeah.
Really, you really can. In real estate right now, as a matter of fact, see, real estate went so sour because so many houses were upside down. I just heard the statistic this morning. 50% of Pasco County, those that live in the Tampa Bay area know where Pasco County is, 50% of the houses that have mortgages are upside down. That means they owe more money than what they can get on those homes right now.
So what can that person do?
They're stuck.
Just hold on.
That's it. No, the point is, yes, hold on. Don't get panicky, but hold on. But because the housing market is going to pick up, but when it'll pick up is after the foreclosures that are out there. You see them everywhere,
Right.
signs everywhere about the foreclosures. When those foreclosures start to become purchased, and they're trying to do them, they're even bringing the foreclosures down. And when that is accomplished,
Will it start creeping back up?
you're going to start seeing housing creeping back up. There's a few subdivisions and things like that are coming up, but they're reasonable for people to buy.
You have a chapter in here titled, Why Am I in Debt?
Yes.
Does that force you to take a good look at your expenditures? Because I think some people so live from paycheck to paycheck.
They
and
do.
They don't realize, as the Bible would say, the little foxes spoil the vine.
That is correct. I have in the book, and also in the workbook that I have at the seminars that I do, I have a survey of your spending habits. Why am I in debt? And some of the questions I ask is, most of my spending is done how? Is it done by cash? Is it done by check, credit card, or debit card? Circling that, that's an indication, a good indication. When I use my credit card, I never change more than I can pay in full each month, and it goes on. So you can take this survey and you can find, okay, where am I and what do I have to change? What lifestyle do I have to change if I'm going to get out of debt?
And there's something about seeing it in black and white. You can
Yes,
look
it
right
is.
there with your checklist. Let me remind you, if you just tuned in, I'm talking with Dr. Mickey L. Walters, who wrote Financial Freedom. The information's on your screen right now. And I've got this book available for you. That's $19.95 plus the shipping and handling. And if you use your credit card, it's 1-800-229-0059, or write to us at Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida, 33758. Now, you also have a plan how to get out of credit card debt.
Yes.
Which is a huge problem.
A credit card debt is a huge problem because people, it's so easy to pull that little piece of plastic out. It's not like pulling out a $10 bill. If you know that you can spend money on a little piece of plastic, you're going to do it. And it's much easier than spending it with cash.
You think twice about the
Oh yeah,
turning loose the
absolutely.
$10 bill.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Do you know, I've never used an ATM in my life.
No,
Oh,
me
no.
neither. I tell you.
So
that-
don't anybody think you can hold me up and take me to an ATM machine, because I don't know how to, I don't have a card. No, I use 2 credit cards, and the only reason is it's good bookkeeping,
That's correct.
and I pay them off. I pay them off the day I get them. And so in that sense, I use the credit card company. They don't use me.
That's exactly right, and that's the smart way of doing it. Let it work for you. You don't work for it. And on top of that, Arthelene, nowadays you can get mileage, you can give gift cards, you can get all sorts of things by using a credit card. But I've seen some people that have credit cards and they can bounce them like a yo-yo because they've got so many of them, you know, and they're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and before you know it, they're $20,000, $30,000 in debt with credit cards.
Yeah, and then try to figure out, what in the world did I buy?
Yes, that's it.
Now, I understand people, and my heart goes out. A medical emergency, you can put on a credit card, and that's the only means you have. I'd do the same thing. I'm sure I would. But that's not the number one reason that people are in credit card debt, is because of those kinds of emergencies.
It's because I want this and I want that.
Money is mentioned in the Bible more than 2,000 times.
That's right. That's
Boy, that
exactly
really makes
right.
you stop and think.
Well, see, God knew.
He knew how important it would be to us.
That's right, exactly right. He knew what was going to happen, and he knew how money governs this world. People will kill for money.
Yeah.
People will do things that they normally think, I would never do that. They'll do it for money. And so money has power, and the devil knows it. So one of the biggest tools in the toolbox of the devil is money and being in debt.
Yeah, because you call it a tool of the enemy. I call it slavery.
That's good.
I really believe that people who are so deeply in debt are slaves to it, when the truth is, you know, barring very unusual circumstances, you can begin to chip away from that, and you'll experience that gradual freedom. There's a couple things I don't want to miss.
Okay.
She has in here percentages. 38% would be for housing.
Correct.
Of your income, and that would be utilities, insurance, taxes, everything.
Right.
This is a good guide. You need to get this book. 10% for groceries. 5% for clothing. And 2% for recreation. That kind of covers, except the big extenuating circumstances. So someone could look at their, not necessarily the paycheck, if they just looked at their credit card bill, they could match that up against your percentages here and see what's going on.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I'm not against credit cards. I'm against having a slew of credit cards. I believe in having one or two credit cards, and as I said, let them work for you. And there's such a great accountability. I went back on mine and went right down the line, you know, as to what I spent here, what I spent there, and I try to put everything on a credit card just for accountability.
It keeps books for you.
That's exactly right.
It tells you what you bought, when you bought it. One thing we cannot go off the air without talking about, that all important aspect of giving. Friends,
Absolutely.
It works. I've been a giver all of my life, and I look back and see how God has met my needs in abundance. And I was left with 2 teenagers, and they both got through college. I've always had decent cars, a good place to live.
There you go.
And according to this world standards, I'm not really that educated and you know, have the ability to make a lot of money, but you cannot take that ingredient of giving out of your finances.
You cannot, because tithing is the key to financial freedom. And I can't say that too much. Giving is the key to financial freedom. Number one, you can't outgive God. There's no way to outgive God. And God is the ultimate giver when He gave us Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
He was the ultimate giver.
I want to put your website up there. It is, one more time before we have to leave the air. And again, remind any church leaders who are watching that this lady has a wonderful seminar that she can give at your church. And this is not only a fine, spirit-filled woman. She's had 35 years in finances. She was in this before she met the Lord. And so I've learned a long time ago that God never takes you through anything that He's going to waste.
That's right.
And all those years you were in that financial planning stuff, He was preparing you for the church.
That's exactly
the
right.
The saints of the church.
That's exactly right.
And I believe that with all my heart. So this is a subject that comes up often on this program because it is so very, very important. It's important to everybody. Now, your book also talks about the possibility of refinancing a house.
Yes.
And how you can sometimes save money doing that.
Absolutely, absolutely. If somebody gets the book, they can go through it step by step to help them understand that there are times that you refinance a mortgage, there's times that you don't. You have to shop. The key is shopping. Whenever you're about to do something of that magnitude, start shopping around, because there's even comparative shopping even in getting a mortgage and making sure that your percentages are down. You got to be down at least 2% for it to do you any good.
We are just about out of time, but I think the first thing you said is so important. That what is your vision for your money? I wish I'd had that term a whole lot younger, because we plan, I think as Americans, a vacation. We spend more time planning a vacation.
That's right.
Than retirement, college, those things down the road. And so when you use that term vision, it really works.
It does work. It does work. I really started our vision probably when we were in our 30s. And I started making plans then.
Wish I'd have been that smart. I wish I... And that's another thing, friends. The Bible says I wouldn't have you to be ignorant. Now he's talking about other things, but I think we could take that phrase out of context. He doesn't want you to be ignorant about money. And so this is your opportunity. I hope you'll take advantage of it. I hope also you'll join me next time, remembering there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you would like a video copy of today's Homekeepers program for just $19.95, call 1-800-229-0059 for credit card orders, or send a gift of at least $19.95 to Homekeepers, P.O. Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758. Be sure to note the program number which appears on your screen.
Everyone has questions. Why am I here? Where will I go when I die? Is there really truth? But not everyone has biblical answers. Welcome to the Pastor Study, a ministry of pastorstudy.org.
And when we read of some Christian denominations now saying abortion's okay, homosexuality's okay, you don't need Jesus to be saved, let's get back to the Bible right here on Monday nights.
Is there a supernatural dimension, a world beyond the one we know? Is there life after death? Do angels exist? Are healing miracles real? Can our dreams contain messages from heaven? Sid Roth has spent over 35 years researching the strange world of It's Supernatural.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Hickey, and I'm so excited about being on CTN again. And our program today with Marilyn and Sarah, listen to this, will be on every weekday morning at 7 a.m., and that's Eastern Standard Time. So, you know, the early bird gets the word. Get up, get the word, let the word absolutely transform your day. That's what the word can do. It can change any circumstances. See you on
God's love, elevating, energizing, empowering.